What does it feel like to have social anxiety? When I was 18, I had the worst social anxiety known to man. I couldn't even make eye contact with a stranger without wanting to burst into tears. And whenever I felt like I said the wrong thing, I'd get overwhelmingly loud, intrusive thoughts of sewer slide, even though I had every intention of staying alive. So starting college made me feel how I imagine a newborn baby would feel if they were to, say, be thrown off of a cliff. Even just walking around, surrounded by dozens of unfamiliar faces, was enough to send me into a harrowing thought spiral. Luckily, the first week was the worst, because after that, I actually talked to someone new, kinda. They talked at me, while I mostly just nodded or grunted in response. Yes, I was the weird kid in high school, but he was my first real friend, so I soon grew an attachment to him. He was kind, funny, and I never once felt judged. So after our first month of unconventional friendship, we started having conversations where we both spoke. It really felt like he just got me, but I should have known it was too good to be true, because somehow, we had an eerily similar early life. During childhood, we went to the exact same restaurants, in the same area, the same kindergarten, and our babysitters even had the same name. And it was the day after this realization that he completely ghosted me, blocked me on everything. It was a person with social anxiety's worst nightmare come true, and we were in the same course. So when he stopped coming to college, I noticed immediately. My mind jumped to the worst conclusion, and I honestly thought he had self-unalived or something. So that same weekend, I went home. My mom always knew the right thing to say, so I trusted her enough to open up about this, but she looked just as confused as me, until I showed her a photo of us together. Her face went completely white. Don't ever talk to him again. What do you? She interrupted. Make new friends, or don't. Up to you. Just never speak to him again, and don't even think about telling your father. She then proceeded to storm off into her room, and I just stood there, completely in shock. Up until that point, my social anxiety had convinced me that the entire thing was my fault. I assumed that I must have been so weird and annoying that he had no choice but to drop out, but apparently, that wasn't the case. I knew who to call though, the person I trusted more than anyone, the smartest woman I knew, the only woman who really knew me, my old babysitter. She picked up straight away, and I asked her if she remembered babysitting for anyone else before. There was a long pause on the other end, before she responded with a meek, yes. I smiled, and asked if she knew a Blake Thompson, the guy from my college. Do you trust me? She asked. Yes, good. She then hung up the phone, and asked me to meet her at the Burger King a block away, and what she told me turned my life completely upside down. A long time ago, before I was born, my parents had an open marriage. Everything was smooth sailing, until my mom got raw dogged so many times that she got pregnant. Luckily, the dad was her very wealthy boss, so her and my dad, her husband, decided to raise the kid. They figured that with the child support, it would be an extra source of income. My eyes went completely wide, but then she kept going. Turns out, they raised my half-brother for 7 years. But then the original father refused to keep paying child support, so they gave him up for adoption. Everything started to make sense, but in the worst way possible. I promised my babysitter not to tell anyone, and right after she finished, she didn't say anything else, just got in her car, and left me in Burger King to process everything. I swear in that second, I felt every emotion known to man. Anger, betrayal, heartbreak, grief, everything. But before I could take action, I knew I first had to find Blake. I can't tell you what happened next in this video. The full story is on my channel.